What celebrity disappeared out of nowhere? Jet Li. Meg White from the White Stripes. Jack White has his own label and is successful with his own music. When asked about Meg, he said she doesn't really enjoy publicity. Enya, she literally made amazing music. Made a fortune, then swerved the limelight to live peacefully in her castle. Iconic. Jason Lee, my name is Earl. Billy Zane. He was in everything. Then he just went. Tom from MySpace was everyone's best friend at one point. What is something you swear you saw, but have no proof of? I was about to walk in the front door around midnight and saw an explosion way up in the sky. The flash was so bright that for a fraction of a second everything went daylight. I called a few people that I knew were still up and out. But nobody had seen anything. A couple of weeks later, I mentioned it to someone and he said, "That's funny. Someone was telling me how a satellite exploded a couple of weeks ago and it was an explosion with a bright flash." About 10 years ago, I was looking out my grandmother's back door. 2 squirrels were playing in the yard. A hawk swooped down and grabbed one. As it was batting its wings and gaining altitude, the other squirrel raced up a nearby tree, leapt off, rocketed down into God's own death from above, and rescued his friend by curb stomping the hawk out of the air. They both ran away and the hawk limped off in confusion. When my sister and I were children, we were riding in the car on the thruway to the airport. I looked out the window and swear I saw a pitchfork flying through the air. Actually brought this up a couple months ago to her. My sister saw it too. One time after school, my friend and I were hanging out in her room on the computer. And we heard the front door open and the little beep beep alarm go off when a door or window is opened. We both looked at one another, confused, since both of her parents weren't supposed to be home for several hours. And we both got a weird vibe from the sound. So we slowly crept to her door. And she literally grabbed a bat. And we opened the door and peered down and over the banister to the living room below. And I swear to God there was a man in a business suit, with a briefcase, just standing in her living room. The front door wide open behind him. And my friend was like, "Who are you? Get out of my house." And he just slowly looked up at us, like he was totally stoned or confused, and was like, "What? Oh, sorry," and walked out and shut the door. That was almost 15 years ago. And we both still remember it and talk about it to this day. At least someone else was with me who saw it. I was watching the local lottery draw on TV and vocally called out every correct number before the ball was shown. I saw a bird land on top of another bird mid-flight. What's something positive we all need to hear? I don't know how positive this is, but there's a lot of money in doom and gloom and we're basically evolutionarily hardwired to value hearing it more than positivity. Acknowledging and understanding this and keeping in mind that doomsayers are wrong a lot more often than they're right. And even when they're right, they're not usually right in specifics. Can be a good thing to remember now and then. It doesn't mean to just blithely ignore problems or whatever. But it can help have better perspective and a healthier disposition about vague existential anxieties and ennui. Stop looking for the one big thing to make you happy. The small things that make you happy add up. That's what's important. When COVID first hit, my teacher sent each individual student a letter about why she liked having them in class. Every card was different and she made some of them herself. Mine said, "This is tough. But so are you." I wish I had more teachers like her. Greater than there is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. Ernest Hemingway. I think this quote is needed now more than ever. Social media has most folks comparing their actual lives to other people's highlight reels. Fuck that shit. You know yourself. Just be better than you used to be. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. And especially don't compare yourself to the false image people project online. There's evidence of recovery in tiger populations. It's okay to fail. What's the best pizza topping? Garlic butt. That's subscribe, my brothers.